The simple analogy that I usually relate to my students is I encourage them to think about the structural connections between the networks as like interstates and secondary roads, city streets with stop signs and traffic signals. If you're on a freeway and the traffic is all moving at 80 miles an hour, but everybody's going 80 miles an hour, everything keeps moving. But all it takes is one fender bender for everything to come to a stop. So it may not be a lot of damage. It may not have been a big accident, but it has this profound effect on the flow of the traffic. So what do? You start looking for an exit ramp to get off and take an alternate route, but it's going to take you longer on that alternate route because you got to deal with all the other people who are getting off on that exit and the stop signs and the traffic signals. It's going to take you longer to get there, but it's better than sitting there where the traffic's not moving. That's kind of what the brain's doing. It will alter your route, like your GPS rerouting. And then once you get accustomed to that new route, there's a tendency not to go back to the older one that's faster and more efficient once it's available.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense for us, especially when we look at, for example, in chiropractic, there's huge focus in types of practices for the people who watch this, a huge focus on the structure and alignment of the upper cervical area, which has, some of the highest densities of muscle spindles in the entire body. And
right.
By properly restoring the alignment, restoring proper, essentially tension to, let's say, the musculature up there, we can look at other things, but we'll just stay really simple with muscle spindles. By restoring proper afferent information up to the brain, just reducing the amount of, off ramps that we got to take and actually just processing. We're just going to have autonomic indications, just like we were talking about, autonomic, emotional, all these different implications that it can have. And yes, we obviously need more research on this topic. But it's just so amazing to see how the same work that you're doing and what we see clinically in every day, how much interplay there is there. And that's why I was so excited to have you on here. This has been pretty cool.
Yeah, the interrelationships are the key to getting a handle on this because as you talk about the cervical spine, really, really common that we see cervical strain of the muscles along with the concussion because of the impact of the head is also imposing a load on the C-spine. Again, the interconnectedness, we clearly see changes in emotions and psychosocial responses that are different after the concussions occur, which is an indication that in some way those signals are being disrupted in the way that they would normally be transmitting between the different nodes of the networks.